Let's make a spring daisy. So this is like a large daisy. Do ignore the stem because this one flops. So we're going to make our stem a bit stronger. But I wanted to make sure I had a rough idea what we were doing before we started. So what you need is a mat like this. I cover mine with an old tea towel because I don't like the feel of the brush. You need your needles, you need some pipe cleaners. I've got green, they don't have to be green. And what we're going to do is we're going to just twist these, and it doesn't matter how too much how well you twist them together. We need the stem reasonably stiff or your daisy will fall over like mine, and I could wrap it or do something with it if I want to try and fix that one, but let's concentrate on today's. So I leave my ends slightly, and I'll show you why in just a second. And then we need some green wool. Now when I made this one I used a light green. I quite like that. I like how it looks with the cream. So we'll use that again. That was called, let me check, Leaf. And this is by World of Wool. So you don't need a massive amount, but I'm going to just pull it apart. And what I'm going to do is, as we got this, these ends of the pipe cleaners are really sharp. So just, if you take it as close to the end as you can and then just fold it over like that, and then you can start wrapping. So want us to look like kind of reasonably good. So we're going to hold it close and nice and flat, and then at a bit of an angle we're going to start twisting. Okay, so we're turning the pipe cleaner, not the wool. Just keep going with that. You can see it's just covering it. We can use our needle as well, but obviously we want to do the least work possible because needle farting takes a long time. And you don't have to go the full length of, it's like an A4 piece of paper, isn't it? Almost the length of the pipe cleaner. You could make it shorter if you wanted to. And when you get to the last little bits, I would just go round a bit. And before we move on to the next bit, just give it a little roll because friction and wool is good. That's actually like on there quite well. If you tried to take that off now, you'd probably find that quite difficult. It'd be sort of quite sticky in some places. So get another piece, not too thick. This is Cordell wool, carded Cordell. I try and always buy that. At least I think it is anyway. Sometimes when they're mixed colours, they can have other things in to get the shades, I suppose. But I think this one is. I'll check in a second. And so we're just going round. Oh, I'm twisting the wool today, aren't I? And not twisting the wires. But it seems to be working okay. I think the main thing is to keep this bit flat and not bend it. So at the top we've got a big lumpy bit, so you don't need to worry about that too much. But you can just tuck that over if you want, so that whilst you're working, pull that off. Whilst you're working, it's not going to bother you. Okay, then with some finger guards. Pop those on. I would just for a second. What we're going to do is we're going to give it a bit of a roll again. You can use your hands or a mat if you want to just help that stick down a bit. Move those out of the way. And then just use a needle. You can just go along. You've got to remember that in here is a wire, so you've got to remember to try not to hit the wire too much because you might break your needle. So anywhere it looks fluffy, you can you'll feel the wool going either side. Just give it a little poke. It's not the easiest thing to do, which is why you want to get the wrapping bit right ideally. And the more you practice wrapping, the better you will get at it. So this one's a bit uneven, so I could spend quite a bit of time on the stem trying to get it a bit more even. You could always add a bit more wool if you've got a really thin part, like you can just see some of the colour coming through there. So that actually might be a good place to add a bit more, but let's just see what happens with the needle. See if we can colour that now. I don't think we're going to, are we? So let's just take a tiny bit. Just wrap it round carefully. Give that a good roll. It's amazing actually what friction can do. It's also really good at picking up other colours. If you've got other colours on your mat, you might want to just be a bit cautious. I'm just poking that in a bit. And it will go in, it just takes time. Move it around, be careful with your fingers, careful not to hit the metal from the pipe cleaner. Okay, yep, I'm happy with that. So the next bit we're going to do is take some carded wool. This one is the whitest I can find. It's chalk from World of Wool. I've tried other ones, they're just not this white. So you want, I'm thinking of like a large daisy, obviously. I'm not going to do a tiny one, I'm not that clever. So kind of like, you need to kind of get your pieces the same. So if you want to, you could stack up 6 or 7 pieces this size, or just do it as you go along. I'm going to fold this over. I'm going to put my finger guards on as well. And then, so I'm using my multi-tool. This one's got 4 needles in it. If you don't have a multi-tool, it's going to take much longer for you to do it with a single needle, but you can do it with a single needle. So we're just going to stab all along, and this just quickens up the process. These are quite fine. A quick way of doing this, and I learned this when I was card making, if you're mass producing something, do one stage at a time. So if you want to smash all your, I call it smashing, smash all your leaves, your petals down like that, do that with all 6 or 7, however many you're going to add. And then you can go in afterwards with your needle and just give it the shape. And this one's come out quite well. We want like a bit of a, not a pointy edge, but a definite round edge. And I just do that by going in. So you do need your finger guards, otherwise you will stab yourself. And so you're going to want to try and get all of these roughly the same size. You can add more wool if you feel like it's too thin. I made a tulip, just go over this again, the other day, and I made it super thin and it just felt a bit flimsy. It's funny because I've made felt flowers. I should have bought them to show you. I've made felt flowers using die cut machines and cutting felt, big pieces of felt before. So I sort of, when you look for felt flowers, you don't see that many, because I think people just go, well, why would you go to this hassle when you can just cut felt? You won't get the same looks. You won't. There's no chance of like adding shade very much to felt unless you needle felt on top of felt, I guess. But yeah, anyway, so we're gonna make try and film a few different videos. We're gonna make a few different ones, different flowers. So I've pre-made a selection of these, and just so you get an idea, I'm trying to get them roughly the same size. Some are a bit bigger than others. We're just going to add them. Now actually, when I looked at a picture of Daisy, go and grab them from the garden if you want to, I did notice that the pieces are actually quite overlapping, but I'm not going to do that because that would take a long time, and you're welcome to do that. So layer them all up like this, and you have a look at this one. You're going to have yellow on the top. You're going to have a big piece on the bottom, which is actually how daisies are. I should have bought one in to have a look at them with you. So we're just going to bunch that in there, and we can use our multi-needle if you want to just get that, to get them joined basically a bit. You can spend a bit of time making sure they all finish nicely. You can push them a bit closer if you need to. The main thing is to just get them joined and add in the colours on top of that. Will do the same as well, and then we can sort out if there's any bits where it feels quite loose. So I'm going to take my green, I'm going to bend the edge of my stem over slightly and just lay that there. And just take a bit of green and wrap it around and add that down. My finger guards back on. I'm using a single needle to do this. Take that off. Hope you can see this. we're just going to start roughly in the middle. Just start felting this down so that it feels like it's joining, and you can loop that over more if you want. Don't worry if the felt goes through on the other side, because we're going to be adding some yellow, and don't worry about making this stand up just yet. Just the main thing is to just get it to feel like it's a bit attached. We're going to have quite a big bit of quite a big sort of stem, so I'm just going to go around that slightly, and then I can start pushing that down. And it will go through, but we want this attached, so that's fine. So there's just a bit of this wool going over the stem, which is really going to help, and we can build this up over time and do the same on this side, just felting it down to attach it and going around with the needle. Just not it's not too important, but trying to make sure that the green doesn't go over the edge of where the daisy finishes. Be careful not to hit the stem underneath the wire, the pipe cleaner. You may do, but just be careful. Use your finger guides as to help you. Okay, that's already feeling quite well attached, but we're going to put a bit more. How bulky you want this, that's up to you. You've got time at the moment to manipulate it if it doesn't feel it's very central. I wanted mine to feel really secure, so I made the bottom base quite big, and it is actually on a daisy. So you might be going up the stem a little bit as well to just join this. It's a bit fiddly. Lump here. Okay. Now be careful when you pull it off, because it would probably have stuck to your mat. Yep. Now if you've got your finger guards on, you can very carefully just tuck this in. Very gently. Don't go all the way through, because you will hit your skin. Just go gently, tucking it in, just sticking these pieces together. And if it's like, you can see there's a bit of a gap here, so you could go in a little bit here if you want to just change that gap a bit. Okay, we're going to put yellow on the top in a minute, so that's going to help with this, and then this just needs more attention, I'm afraid. Just going sort of downwards like a daisy would. Add more wool if you want to, by all means. So my aim is to do a few more videos to give you a few different types of springy type flowers. And this is like the large daisies you get. It's as if you pick them from your garden. If you have any of these petals that just look a bit shabby, or you know, don't look quite well formed at the bottom, go in and give them a bit of love with a few little taps, just getting them secure, making the edges feel nice. You could spend as long as you want doing this. You could make it. You could make these as small as you want. The more you manipulate these leaves, the more you stab them, the smaller they'll get, the more delicate they'll look. So that is entirely up to you. Okay. So look at this one up here. That's not good at all, is it? Let's go in and sort this out. This one doesn't feel too good at all. Sorry, trying to get the angle of the camera so you can see what I'm doing. let's put the yellow on the top now, and then hopefully that will sort out the mess that's on here. So I'm going to use, I'm going to use the bright one again. This is mustard, carded Corridel mustard from Wotherwall. It's a nice kind of like a dirty yellow almost. And then, so with this one, I'm just going to fold it over a bit, pop it on the top. Now, it is awkward because you've got the wire attached, so you're just going to have to be careful. Use your finger guards and push down gently, not too fast, not too hard. So concentrate on getting it in the middle. You can tidy these up as you go if they're really looking odd. And we will bring this all around here, so that will help with these odd ones. You can I'm just going to place it down like this. If you look at a daisy, they are quite, they're not flat. And we're covering up any mistakes or any bits of the bottom of the flower that doesn't look good. You could, of course, layer yours a bit closer if you wanted to. And go round. This one's really not happy. Just poke in a bit more. That's better. Again, just making a bit of a connection with these petals rather. And everybody's picked these apart when they were little. They're like tiny little bits of pollen, aren't they? So we don't want it to be super smooth. We're not going for the super smooth effect. Just tidying up these leaves as I go round. Move it round, making sure that you've got a little bit on each flower, I would, just to help it be part of the flower, not fall off. So given much more time, you can make this much better. But the point is that you get a starting place. If you're looking at it and going, how do I make a daisy? I don't know what to do. This might be of some help. This flower just needs a touch and a bit better. Just going in here at the white, and I might even take a tiny bit of green and just bring that up here. Sorry, just bring that. I'm going to take these off and hopefully I won't stab myself. Just add this because it feels just like it's not really thick enough on there. And like I said, you spend as much time as you need to getting this looking the way you want it to. I just want you to have the method of how to do it. You can go in the middles as well if you want to just reinforce it. I like this to have quite a bubbled effect. I don't want it to be too flat. Put a bit more here if we want. And if you make your petals really stiff, they can be much thicker as well. I think with the felt you can't be aiming for like that absolute realistic super thin felt. Maybe if you wet felt. I've not done any wet felting yet, so this is just needle felting. Okay, so that's going to hold. It's going to do a little bit more felting on the back, but you can see there's a bit of bend to it. That is your daisy. There we go. This one was done in cream and the leaves are slightly smaller. This one's bigger. That's fine. You can make this a bit more bulbous if you want. Push it in a bit. I might spend a bit more time working on it, but so you don't get bored. That's the basics of making a daisy. Okay, if you've enjoyed this, please do subscribe because I'm quite new and I like to make you lots more videos. Okay, thank you. Take care. Bye.